Greetings guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I firstly wanted to start this video and say I realized that recently most of my videos have been revolving around women, today's one included, and I just wanted to apologize if that has thrown anyone off, or if it makes it seem like I'm trying to bring women down or anything like that. I'm obviously all for rising up women and, loving women, empowering women, etc. However, I have a lot going on in my life right now, and I find the topic of men, specifically the men that I usually talk about and cover on this channel, I'm just not in the headspace to do that right now. My PTSD levels at the moment are quite high. However, I still obviously want to make videos, but I also, need to make videos because this is my job and I need to be able to pay my bills and stuff. So I'm sorry if my videos are a bit of a different topic or if they're all sort of similar at the moment. I'm kind of limited to what I can talk about because mental health is important and I need to take care of myself. But I hope that you're enjoying nonetheless, and I hope that you enjoyed this video as well. Today's video in particular, I wanted to talk about someone that we haven't talked about for a long time, which is the transformed wife. Now, if you don't know, the transformed wife is this lady who, I don't know how old she is actually. She's I'd say 60s, 70s. And she's a trad wife, of course. She's a grandmother. She tweets 20 times a day about how women need to be godly and fit God's design. She calls herself the teacher of women because that's her responsibility, to teach women about Christ and how to be godly women. And that's what she does. She tweets a million times a day. She also, I think, has a YouTube channel, and she posts videos on Facebook as well. But today specifically, we are going to be looking at her tweets because my oh my, are they a treat. A couple of things before we get into it. First one being, today's video is sponsored by Aura, and I will tell you a little bit more about them later on. And I also would like to take this moment to say thank you to today's patron of the day, Apollo. I appreciate you greatly, and I hope that you enjoy this video. And if anyone else would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/savvycat. It starts at as little as £1 a month, and I appreciate it greatly. Okay, so let's get into the tweets. When women are let loose to do as they please, away from the influence of men, they have not come up with a cornucopia of great inventions and discoveries. Instead, they have aborted tens of millions of infants, blamed all their problems on men, voted leftists into office, become excessively promiscuous, gotten worthless college degrees and demanded equally worthless make-work jobs, believed that wealth falls like manna from heaven, come to believe marriage is temporary, destroyed children's lives through easy divorce and single parenthood, and rationalized every bit of it. It's a quote from Bob Wallace. Women are now allowed to make their own choices. That's what changed, is that we are independent people. We are people. We are seen as people in the eyes of the law. We are able to make our own choices. We are able to decide what we want to do with our lives. And we are able to leave partners who are mistreating us, who, don't bring anything to the table, who abuse us, etc. Right? It's so funny when these people are like, you're ruining kids' lives through divorce and single parenthood. A lot of kids wish their parents got divorced because when your parents are unhappy and your household is unhappy, the children are unhappy. It is so much better to have two single and happy parents or one single and happy parent than it is to have two miserable parents in a miserable household. You learn what relationships and love looks like based off of your parents. You learn how to have relationships and communicate with other people from your parents. And if your parents spend the whole time fighting, they spend the whole time just with such a lack of love and disconnect and bad communication, that's how the child is going to view relationships a lot of the time, even if unintentionally, that's going to rub off on them. And if your parents are unhappy and they're taking that out on their kids are going to be unhappy. Divorce is so much better than unhappy relationships, including for children. And I never get this thing with useless degrees. It's you're getting useless degrees, and it's I don't really think any degree is particularly useless. Sure, a degree may not help you get a job, but I mean, personally, I love learning, you know? The problem with degrees is they put you in debt, which is a really big problem. But like regardless, like studying and learning about something that you care about and are interested in, I don't think is a waste of time. Whether it helps you further your career or not, like obviously you want it to, that is technically why you were getting it. But I think in general, a lot of the time, if you are studying something that you enjoy and that you are passionate about, it is never a waste of time. The experience you have at university, the things that you learn, the way you are able to evolve and interact more with new people and people you wouldn't normally interact with is such a cool thing. I made so many friends at uni, granted, not so close anymore, but like I made a lot of friends in uni. I had a lot of experience. I did a lot of growth. I healed a lot through uni. It like helped me work through my trauma. It helped me learn about myself. It helped me connect with the world and figure myself out deeper. And like, it's such an incredible experience for a lot of people. And like, regardless of whether the degree helps you or not, my degree is pretty useless. I'm not fucking using it. I have a Bachelor of Music, you know, like that has no job security or job prospects or anything. I just was able to learn more about something that I love, you know? And I think calling degrees useless is just silly. It's just silly. If I could, I would study a lot more stuff, but like it requires time that I don't have and money that I don't have. So it's not something I can do. Getting degrees and learning about things you love is such a fantastic thing. And I love to learn. I love to learn. It is such an amazing thing. And I think that like, you know, a lot of us do love to learn. We learn every day. We can dig into things. We can figure stuff out. And that is especially helpful with the aid of the internet. I love doing all my Google deep dives and learning about things that I love and looking further into it. I love hyperfixating on things and going down holes on Google and Wikipedia. I just love learning. And I don't think there's such a thing as a useless degree. Not really. Speaking of deep diving on the internet and the internet in general, I want to take this moment to tell you a little bit more about today's sponsor, Aura. Are you constantly tired of receiving spam calls and messages to the point where you just like stop answering your phone? Because I certainly am. I've been getting so many spam calls recently. Like, look at my freaking call log. All of these red calls, those are spam calls, or at least numbers that don't attach to anywhere, because I've had so many spam calls I haven't answered them to find out. The reason that we get so many spam calls and messages and the likes is because data brokers are selling your personal information in order to make a profit. So a lot of the time, you know, you go onto websites and you click like allow all cookies, allow essentials. You know, we never read that. Why would I read that? That's a waste of time. I'm just going to hit allow. That oftentimes gives permission for them to sell your information, which is super fun. But that's where Aura comes in. Aura works to automatically opt you out of all of this. They opt out of selling your data. And once you opt out, data brokers have to legally, they are obliged to stop selling your information. So with Aura, you are able to stop your information from being sold and therefore solve the problem of all of these spam calls and spam texts and keep you safer online, which is fantastic. So it means that you get to like be on the internet and going to all your silly little websites without worrying about anyone selling your information. It is incredibly easy to set up and you don't have to worry about getting a whole bunch of different apps for things like VPN, antivirus, password management, identity theft insurance, and all the likes, all in one app at an affordable price. And I think that it is such an incredible thing. And I absolutely recommend downloading it. If you go to my link, aura.com/kiwi, or click the top link in the description, then you can get your first 2 weeks completely free. So you can either continue to let people exploit and profit off of your information, or you can download it now, and I absolutely recommend it. So thank you, Aura, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back into the madness of the transformed wife. A woman wrote to me, "Submitting isn't natural to me. None of God's commands are natural to us. The flesh wars against the spirit. The flesh is carnal and selfish and wants its own way. Loving our husbands for life and obeying them isn't natural. Loving our children isn't natural. If it were, millions of unborn babies would have been given life. Being good, chaste, discreet, keepers at home, sober, and having meek and quiet spirits aren't natural. This is why God commands aged women to teach these things to younger women. Wait, hold on. Wait. Okay, wait. Isn't your whole thing about how being a homemaker, looking after your children and serving your husband is natural? Is that not your whole thing? That like that's what women are designed to do? That's what makes us feel happy and fulfilled, and that's what feels natural to us? Because I feel like that's literally your entire argument the rest of the time. So where did this come from? It's not natural. It's a challenge. You know, your life has to be hard in order to prove to God that you are worthy and that you are willing to sacrifice in his name. That's such a sad way to live, first and foremost. Making yourself miserable to make God happy. That's so sad. That just makes God seem like a bit of an ass, because surely your God should want you to be happy. If your God's entire intention is to make your life miserable, maybe you should find a new God. That's just my opinion. And can we talk for 1 second about how you said that loving your children isn't natural? Like, you have to force yourself to love your children? Like, I understand that that is true for some people. Like, loving your children can be difficult. A lot of people have that disconnect from their children. Postpartum depression is a thing. Some people just don't have that. But for the most part, loving your child is like one of the most natural parts about being a person. Like, it is an instinct. It is like built into us biologically to want to love and protect this child. The child that we have carried in birth. It is like within our nature to do everything for them. And that goes for a majority of the animal kingdom. So saying loving your child isn't natural and that you struggled to do that, I'm a bit confused. And also sad for your children that you don't love them. You have to force yourself to try to love them. That's a wild thing to say. And also, I'm sorry, like if it were natural for us to love our children, millions of babies would have been given life. That's kind of implying that people who had miscarriages didn't love their children enough for them to be born. And that's really fucked up. I know you're talking about abortions here, but like, people seem to forget that miscarriages exist, and you are here implying that miscarriages happen because the people carrying them don't love them enough. And that's really fucked up of you. Live your life what feels good and fulfilling to you. And I'm sorry that you don't love your children, but how are you sitting here and saying that like doing all of this isn't natural, and then 5 seconds later saying that it is natural? Like, one of the tweets she made, like literally like 2 days before this is, cuddling with my grandchildren, reading to them, feeding them, and caring for them feels like the most natural thing in the world to me. Being in the workforce always felt unnatural to me. I felt like a fish out of water. We were created to be keepers in our homes. Which is it? These are literally like 2 days apart. I love when they change their teaching depending on who's saying something. Like, not changing their teaching, changing their morals and their beliefs depending on who's asking, just because they want to get through to and brainwash as many other people as possible. So being like, this is what's natural to us. This love comes naturally. We are designed to do this. This is what is fulfilling. And then immediately when someone says, not for me, they're like, no, because it's not natural. You have to force it. That's how you know God is happy. Which one is it? Take your pick. You can't say both. You cannot have both of these beliefs. Unless, you're like, loving your children doesn't come naturally, but loving your grandchildren does. Love skips a generation. You didn't love your kids, but you love their kids. That's what's natural. Wild. That baffling. Absolutely baffling. A couple begins dating, then fornicating, then maybe moving in together. The guy is getting wife privileges for free. No need for commitment. He's happy. The girl begins losing her spark for him. Her expectations of him aren't being met. He's not meeting her emotional needs. She's no longer happy. They begin quarreling. They eventually break up. Then the process begins again. This sours both of them on the idea of marriage. Without a lifelong commitment in marriage, a relationship dies a natural death. Also, women aren't being taught anywhere to be sexually pure, nor how to be wives. It's all a recipe for disaster. It's always so funny to me when they say this because, like, this happens in marriage too. Like, the relationship isn't different whether you're married or not. It's just a little bit harder to leave when you're married because you have to go through, like, a whole legal process. But the relationship dynamic itself is exactly the same. It's exactly the same. And a lot of people don't put the same sort of level of importance on a marriage as you do. It's kind of that thing if they're like, oh, if this relationship is falling apart, my emotional needs aren't being met and I'm miserable, whether I'm married or not, I'm gonna leave because I am unhappy. And I think that's a much better way to be. Like, are you trying to say that if you and your husband weren't married, like, take away the certificate, you wouldn't want to be with him? Because, like, that's always what it sounds like. It always sounds like they're trapped. They're like, well, I'm married, so I have to stay because I owe it to him because I said I would in the eyes of God. Like, or do you actually love him and choose to be with him? That's the thing, is that, like, it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. One just has a piece of paper attached to it, you know? If you only love your husband because you're married, that's a problem. That's really sad. I personally, I don't really have any desire to get married. But like, let's say I did. Let's say if I ever decided to get married, I want to be married to someone that I like love, you know? Marriage is just like a fun thing that we do to declare our love to one another. That's all it is. I want to be married to someone that I know inside and out. I want to be married to someone whom I trust, whom I love, whom I would like give the world for. You know what I mean? Like, I want to marry someone who makes me happy, who makes me better, that we enjoy things together, that there's love and like connection, you know? And I can't do that with someone who is a virtual stranger. And it's so funny because like you sit here and they like all preach about purity and how important that is and like how you shouldn't let lust drive you. But the reason they all get married so quickly is like just to have sex. Like marriages happen within months because they're not allowed to be intimate with one another until they get married. So they rush it. Like, why are you rushing? Why do you have to get married so soon? Why do you get married within only a few months of knowing one another? There's no reason other than the fact that you want to have sex. So you are letting lust drive your decision to get married. Whereas if I were to get married, I would want my love and adoration of this person to drive my desire to make me get married. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're the one who has it backwards here. You gotta kiss a few frogs before you get to your prince, you know? Like that, that whole saying of like, sometimes you're gonna get it wrong. And if you marry the first person you meet, you're likely not going to be happy. Like, not all the time. Sometimes it works out perfectly fine. You marry the first person you love or whatever. Like, that's fine. But like a lot of the time, you have to get through a few other people. You have to figure yourself out. You have to find someone that you connect with, and that can take some time. And I think that that's like valid and that's worth it. And that's like a beautiful part of relationships. Some relationships are like destined to be just like short term. Sometimes there's someone who needs to be in your life for just a little while and you outgrow each other, and that's healthy and that's normal. And like heartbreak is a part of life. And I think that it's like a beautiful thing to have someone that you love intensely for just a short amount of time, and having lots of people that you're able to love and learn from and grow with. And you are made up of every person that you've ever met and ever known. And having like little pieces of people that you've loved throughout your life is such a beautiful thing, you know? And I just think that like, you should marry someone that you love. I think, you know, moving in with someone and falling in love with someone and doing all the things a married person would do with someone that you love it's a wonderful thing. And you don't have to be married. You just get married when you're ready to get married. Nothing should really change in the relationship. A marriage should be a declaration of love, not a signing of a contract so that you can have sex. And also, I'm sorry, but purity culture is absolutely still taught. It's taught in a lot of schools. It's taught by churches. It's taught by you. Like, purity culture is still alive and well and thriving, unfortunately. It's a horrible, terrible thing, and it's actually quite dangerous, but it's definitely still prevalent. So don't even try to pretend Don't even try to pretend that it's not still around. She posted a photo of Taylor Swift with like the "Karma is the guy on the Chiefs coming straight home to me" that she like changed the lyrics in Karma to at her Argentina show. And she said, "Has he committed his life to you in marriage, Taylor? Or is this just another passing fling? You once sang about romance and love. Love is commitment, not living together without marriage. Love sticks together through the hard times. Marriage for a lifetime is true romance." She just got out of a 6.5-year relationship. Like, I would call that commitment and going through a lot of hard times together. She wrote a lot of songs about that relationship and how they got through a lot of hard times together. They had a very lovely, loving relationship as far as I can tell through the songs that she wrote and, you know, what we'd heard about him. Like, I don't really understand how you can sit here and be like, oh, but are you married? You're not really committed. A 6-year relationship is that's a pretty decently long amount of time. That's a long enough time to like get to know someone and love someone and be committed to them and see them on so many difficult and dark days. Like, my best relationship was like just short of a year, and I would say that we got through, you know, a lot of bad days, and like he helped me through a lot of hard times, and also there was a lot of like love and commitment and all that. It was only a year of my life, but again, like those relationships that are like short but so important are so important to have. And 6 years isn't a short amount of time. That is a significant amount of time. And for all you know, maybe these two will get married. I don't fucking know. It's a very new relationship, and I don't really think it fucking matters if they're living together or not. Baffling. I don't understand. And also, what's it got to do with you? Leave Taylor Swift alone. There are a lot of things to criticize Taylor Swift for. Absolutely. But her having a boyfriend who like comes to her house sometimes it's not one of them. It's not one of them. This is her quote retweeting someone that said 70% of unmarried women voted to enshrine child sacrifice into the Ohio state constitution. And she quote retweeted with "repeal the 19th." I've said it before and I'm going to say it once again. If you want to remove women's right to vote, you need to sit down and stop preaching your opinions on the internet or anywhere. If you don't want women to have a voice, you aren't allowed to use your voice. If you don't think women deserve a voice, you as a woman cannot use your voice. She's here like women are meant to be quiet and not opinionated, and we shouldn't have the right to vote. And she's here like, here are all my opinions, here is what all of you have to do, and how dare you be anything different. Here are all of my political opinions. Here are all of my political beliefs. Fuck leftists, fuck liberals, fuck communism. But women, you're not allowed an opinion. Like, if you're not allowed an opinion, don't have an opinion. Get off the internet. Stop telling people what they're meant to believe and how they're meant to live their lives, because that is you having an opinion. And if you're going to sit here and say like, how dare you vote leftists into government, like that's a political opinion. And if you don't want that to happen, that means you have to vote conservative. If you are upset that leftists are getting in because women are voting for leftists and you're not doing anything to combat that, then like you're part of your own problem. You are your own worst enemy. You can't complain about who's getting into government if you're not going to vote against it, unless you are voting, in which case, once again, hypocrite. Also acting as though men don't vote for leftists as well. Like, also what leftists? What leftists are in government? What leftists are in government? There's like a handful, maybe. Very, very few leftists are actually successful in political fields, especially in the fucking US. Abortion wouldn't even be an issue in this land if young women were being taught from a young age the value of being wives, mothers, and homemakers instead of pursuing college careers and a paycheck. The latter proliferates fornication and abortion. God's ways are good. I never understand when they're like, if we just taught women conservative values, then abortion wouldn't be a problem. Like, implying that abortion's new. Like, abortion has been around for thousands of years. Abortion is not a new phenomenon. It's not something that people just miraculously started doing in the fucking 1970s. Abortion has always existed. There have always been people who do not want to be pregnant, who do not want to give birth. There has always been those people throughout all of history. Yeah? Like, this is not a new, it's not a new thing. And in some cultures, it was never seen as something that was sinful or wrong. It was just a normal part of life, you know? It's like not something, it's not something that is like demonized by everyone. I also find it so funny that she's so against like having careers, and she's so against like earning money and wanting paychecks, but is also like very anti-communism. Like, all of these people are like this. They're always like, I think that we need to have more community. We need to be a stronger community. We should be baking bread for each other. We should be looking after each other's children when, you know, we're sick. We should be having churches together. We should be teaching our own children. We should be doing things for one another. That's communism. If you don't want to care about money and you want to live in a community, and all just like live in like peace and harmony where everyone just works together and lives together and like exists as their own people without the stress of like the corporate world and no need to go into the workforce, you want communism. That's what you're asking for. These people don't know what communism is. They've just been taught communism bad. And that's all. They've never questioned it. They've never thought about it, which I find so funny because they're also so against modern values. They're so against modern society and they want to be traditional. But capitalism itself is a new concept, like in the grand scheme of things. If you want to go back to being in like, you know, traditional and like they were in the old days, that's not capitalism. It's not capitalism. That's not what it was. It's not been around that long. And although like it wasn't communism, at least in like white Christian society, also it wasn't capitalism. And they are massive capitalists, but they'll never acknowledge that because they benefit from it. The people who are these trad wives who promote this living are obviously married to men who make good money. They're married to men who are able to sustain a very nice life for them and their children and allow them to stay home and live relatively lavishly. So they're not going to complain about it, which again makes them hypocrites. They're all hypocrites. It's, Anyway, I think that just about does it for this video. I hope that you have enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. 60% of you are regular viewers but are not subscribed, so give it a check and see if you've subscribed or not. Sometimes we forget. A massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons. These names are up on the screen right now. I appreciate you greatly. And a massive thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Harry, Bobby, Sparrow, Josh, Mandy, Ikazel, Jessica, Eldo, Danielle, Raven, Anoli Like Cannoli, Elias, Apollo, Taylor's Trying, Boston, Chris, Amelia, and Anu. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. If anyone else would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the top link in the description. It starts at as little as £1 a month, or for £3 and up, you get things such as bonus mini podcasts, live streams, outtakes, vlogs, and more. So yeah, I appreciate it greatly. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.